there a certain plane that you really want, and through hours and hours of grinding and losing to premium planes, did you get it just to find that you know nothing about that plane? Chances are that you tried it once, got shot, died, and now you think that this plane is the worst. Sometimes it feels like the game is rigged. I mean, it probably is, but if it isn't, then maybe you need help from your amateur YouTuber. Flightless boy here, and welcome to my generic plane review, where I go through almost all the planes I can put my dirty, sweaty, and fat hands on. Today, we will be looking at the Gloster Gladiator from the British Tree. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? Okay, time for a nice history lesson. The history of the Gloster Gladiator is one of many interesting turns and many battles. To cut it short, the main details go as follows. The Gladiator was conceived in the 1920s by Gloster, after the current fighter for the RAF became outdated. It was designed to fit the F-7-30 specifications at the time to keep up with the rest of the world's air forces. It took its first flight in 12th of September 1934. It was introduced in 1937, 2 years before the war starts. At the start of the war, it was used as a backup fighter, used by the 247 Squadron and the 804 Squadron. It was exported and sent to many places such as North Africa, Norway, Malta, and Greece, just to name a few. It played a support role in both the Battle of Britain and Malta. It was put out of service on the 15th of February 1943. It was used by Australia, Belgium, China, Egypt, Free France, Finland, Germany in small numbers, Greece, Iraq, Ireland, Lithuania, Norway, Portugal, Romania, South Africa, Soviet Union, Sweden, and the UK. I feel like it's about time for some stats. Crew 1, its length was 8.36 meters, its wingspan was 9.83 meters, its height was 3.58 meters, its wing area was 30.0 meters squared, and its power plant was a ×1 Bristol Mercury 9, producing over 619 kilowatts. Its guns initially were two synchronized 303-inch Vickers machine guns on the sides, two 303 Lewis machine guns, one beneath each lower wing, and then later aircraft had four 303 caliber M1919 Browning machine guns, two on the side and one beneath each lower wing. Okay, I feel like it's time I get around to some in-game stats. At stock, its max speed in arcade is 399, while in realistic it's 386. Its max altitude is 10,211. Its turn time in arcade is 16.7 seconds, while in realistic it is 17.7. Its rate of climb in arcade is 13, while in realistic is also 13. Its takeoff run is 232 meters. However, upgraded, its max speed in arcade is 431, while in realistic battle it's 414. Its max altitude is the same. Its turn time in arcade is 15.3, while in realistic is 6.0. Its rate of climb in arcade is 8.8, while in realistic is 15.7. Its takeoff run is the same as well. I feel like after all that stats, it's about time we go into some pros and cons. This is a reminder that this doesn't really alter my opinion on the plane. Pros: its armament is equal or better than other fighters in its battle rating range. It actually has a pretty good armament compared to most other planes in that rating, so that's pretty good. It has good maneuverability in turn. Like all British biplanes, this should be expected. It does have very good maneuverability. Definitely does have a good maneuverability in a turn. This is expected for all British biplanes to be fairly maneuverable, so that's always a plus as well. Tracer belts, like all other planes fitted with Browning machine guns, can be deadly. Most of the time when I get killed, it's usually with tracer rounds. It has flaps, unlike most biplane fighters. This is quite good to teach you about landing with flaps and stuff, so you don't rip them off, or you turn better, etc. This is quite a good beginner plane to do this kind of stuff and then kind of experiment because it's quite low tier. Okay, time for some cons. It's sluggish in acceleration and top speed. It has a pretty bad acceleration. It goes pretty fast, but because of its acceleration, its top speed isn't the best. It has performance deficiencies that can make it an easy target for experienced or more difficult adversaries. So that means that even though it is a good turner in turn fighting, it isn't good at some other things that could worsen its performance, such as stalling, etc. That is very common in most low tier planes. It's not the best climber, so don't expect to bomber hunting and stuff. I've tried doing that and it takes me half a match in realistic, so don't do that. Blades and turns, even with using flaps, it is a good turn like I said, but it just bleeds in those turns. Now time for some tactics. I forgot to do them last time, so I might as well make up for it in this video. Tactic 1. The Gladiator is fairly maneuverable. Use that to your advantage when engaging in planes. And use tracers to shred planes to pieces. Again, it bleeds in turns, so be careful of that, don't overturn yourself. Tactic 2. Go for bombers, or so of low altitude bombers, ones that are diving onto targets, ground attackers. If you're in an arcade, this should be easier, but in realistic, you should try doing this with a teammate and with a grain of salt. You may not be able to get the bombers because of the bad climb rate, if you get there at all, because you might get shut down before you actually get there. Tactic 3. Patrol around to your teammates or escort bombers in order to intercept the enemy planes, looking for a free kill. This is better again with a teammate. If you have nothing to do, just relax and take a few free shots at ground targets. That's what I generally do. This is a quite good strategy if you do have teammates, or if your teammate picks a bomber by mistake. And it's quite good for people who want to take a more relaxed style of using this biplane. Now, a review wouldn't be without actually giving my opinion on the plane, wouldn't it? After all, that's what we came to see. Here goes nothing. Gloster Gladiator, like its history, is a really interesting kind of plane. Even though it's a biplane, it doesn't really feel like one. It feels more like a monoplane, to be honest. Sure, it's got the turn times to prove it, but if you look underneath its body, you'll find it a well-capable plane that can take on planes half its size. But don't expect for it to do it on its own. It's a plane that's easy to pick up but hard to master. If you expect it to get a ton of high-tier kills on its own, don't. It's a lot like the Swordfish or Sunderland, in the manner that it's decent on its own, but with a good palette in its hands, it can do wonders. With tracers, it's a machine that can shred through planes like paper. I probably like this plane a bit more than I should, but this plane is a good barrel of fun despite its flaws, such as it being a bit slower and it bleeding through turns or losing a match in general. I can still keep a smile on my face. If you need to grind through the British tree or are looking for a capable plane for low tier or just starting, I definitely suggest this plane. Now, one more thing before I go. Now, there's more than one Gloster Gladiator in the text tree. Like I've mentioned before, there's Tux Gladiator and the normal Gladiator itself. So what's the difference? Well, besides the grind effort, I would say that Tux Gladiator has all the upgrades when you actually get it. But other than that, there really isn't much difference besides like you get more different types of ammo. And then there's also the Sea Gladiator, which is slightly slower, but I feel like it does more damage, if you know what I mean. Anyways, that's about it for today. I really appreciate the 23 subscribers, now 26, of recently, and I'm glad that people seem to be enjoying these videos so far. I'll try to procrastinate a lot less, hopefully, and get these videos out a lot sooner. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a good day both online and offline. I'll catch you directly.